Is Iran turning itself into a fortress for Ali Khamenei's final farewell, with security forces and state institutions mobilized nationwide as the country prepares to say goodbye? Is Tehran really bracing for as many as 20 million mourners, as the capital prepares for a final farewell that could dwarf any procession seen in Iran's modern history? Is Khamenei's funeral about to become Iran's biggest show of force, blending raw public grief with a carefully choreographed display of military and political power? With the Air Force, Navy, and IRGC on high alert, is Iran using this moment of mourning to signal that it is braced for any threat or disruption during the long farewell? Iran will begin 6 days of state funeral ceremonies for Ali Khamenei on July 4th, launching a tightly planned period of mourning that will dominate the nation's calendar. The late Supreme Leader will be laid to rest on July 9th, after a series of nationwide ceremonies that move his coffin through some of Shiite Islam's holiest cities. Officials expect millions of people to line the streets for processions across Iran during the state farewell, turning each city into a sea of black banners and flags. Tehran's mayor has suggested the capital alone could see up to 20 million mourners pass through over several days, a logistical and security operation on an epic scale. Authorities say parallel mourning events in Qom, Mashhad, Najaf and Karbala are also expected to draw huge crowds, extending the farewell beyond Iran's borders. Iranian officials insist the ceremonies will demonstrate national unity after months of war and crisis, projecting an image of cohesion around the new leadership. The mourning events will move from Tehran to the seminary city of Qom before the final burial in Mashhad, following a symbolic route through Iran's religious heartland. The state funeral is widely seen as Mojtaba Khamenei's first major test as Supreme Leader, setting the tone for how he will handle both symbolism and security. Mojtaba has not yet appeared publicly since assuming the country's top leadership position, leaving many Iranians wondering how visible he will choose to be. Observers will watch closely to see whether Mojtaba leads the main funeral prayer in Tehran, a moment that could cement his authority in front of millions and the cameras. The IRGC has intensified ground, naval, and Air Force deployments to secure the funeral ceremonies from any threat. The military has expanded its border presence as foreign leaders and dignitaries arrive in Iran for the high-profile events. Iran's Air Defense Force is conducting continuous surveillance of the country's airspace throughout the funeral period. Air defense units are also managing air traffic to ensure secure skies during the funeral ceremonies and related movements. Iran's police chief said 265,000 troops have been mobilized to secure Khamenei's funeral, turning the ceremony into a massive security operation. Iran's Air Force and Navy remain on full operational alert throughout the ceremonies, with defenses locked in from start to finish. Army helicopter units are also on full readiness to support air traffic and respond to any emergency that may arise. Those helicopter units are coordinating with relief agencies for medical evacuation and rescue operations if the situation turns critical. Amid all this, Iran has warned the US and Israel against any attack ahead of Khamenei's state funeral. A top Iranian commander said any US or Israeli strike would trigger harsh retaliation, raising the stakes even higher. Iran's Ali Abdullahi has challenged the US and Israel with a blunt warning ahead of Khamenei's funeral, and I quote, "We warn the enemies of Iran, especially the US and the Zionist regime, Israel, to avoid any miscalculation and to think about the harsh retaliation our armed forces would make to any threat and aggression against our country." Notably, Donald Trump has repeatedly claimed that the US military has decimated Iran's armed forces.
We're not going to let it happen. So Iran will essentially, most important paragraph to me, Iran will in no way, shape, or form have a nuclear weapon or purchase a nuclear weapon.
But is this just a concept of that agreement when it comes to nuclear? You said this was just a concept of that agreement. So is this just essentially setting the stage for deeper talks on nuclear?
It's a very strong memorandum of understanding that is a little conceptual, but it's something that's going to get done. And if it doesn't get done for any reason, which I can't imagine that not happening, they want to sign it as much as I do or more. I would say they want to sign it more, maybe a lot more. But it's a very detailed memorandum of understanding, also agreed to by many other countries that have great influence over them. and everybody wants it done. So it's going to get done.
Suggested yesterday that Iran may be tapping along the U.S. Those were the words that you used. What makes you believe that they are sincere this time in wanting to pursue
It's the
diplomacy?
level of enthusiasm for getting it done. And we were hitting them very hard for the last 3 days. We're going to hit them even harder tonight. They knew that. We told them exactly what we were going to do. We explained it exactly because they had no Navy, they had no Air Force, they had any weapons of detection, they had nothing. And so we could tell them exactly there wasn't a thing they could have done about it. And we won this war militarily very early on. The only thing we didn't win was the fake news was, no matter if they could have raised the white flag of surrender and the fake news would say, oh, they did wonderfully. They didn't do wonderfully.
Mr. President, is there a specific amount of time that has to pass between this memorandum of understanding and a final deal being done?
Well, we hope it's going to go relatively quickly, but it's.
Is there a 60 or 90
I mean, the
day
straits are
deadline?
going to open immediately. It's upon signing. Maybe it'll be Saturday or
Or is there
Monday.
a deadline, though, to get from this to a final deal?
We think it's going to go pretty quickly. I don't want to say a deadline because if I say a deadline, you'll say, oh, he didn't meet the deadline. This is like, it's not going to matter much because it's going to get signed. And the strait is open. But the straits have been open for a number of months already, and you just didn't know about it. You as reporters weren't able to get it. I just announced yesterday that we brought a lot of ships through and nobody knew about it. I guess we did a pretty good job, Peter, right? So
On DNI, Mr. President, do you intend to have Bill Pulte continue to serve as the acting director of national intelligence? And do you think it's unreasonable that some Republicans have concerns that he has no intelligence experience, even if he's serving in this acting role?
But he's intelligent, unlike a lot of other people.
But do you think that's a fair, no intelligence?
He's only there for a little while. He's running it for a short while while we get a very talented person, Jay Clayton. And as you know, Jay Clayton's an incredible talent, head of Sullivan and Cromwell. He was head of the SEC. He was now Southern District. I mean, nobody has better credentials. But Bill will run it for a short while. He's done a fantastic job at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Created tremendous, it's probably worth $1 trillion now, trillion. He's done a great job. He's a smart guy.
Mr. President, are you considering using or drafting an executive order to extend FISA or to continue using Section
Well, the
102?
Congress wants me to do it, and let's see what happens. Right
Republican
now,
leadership wants you to do it.
I put out a statement, sure. It's
Do you
very
think you have
important.
the
It's
executive-
very important for our military.